Hello, everyone. Welcome to Co-working. Lord, we are big on screen. Hold, too big. But welcome to Co-working. We are doing this live every Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you are new here, top of the month, we do a board meeting style where we talk about the state of social media, blogging, just internet culture, all the things. Check out that video if you haven't already. But today we are at work. So we are doing the Pomodoro method. We're going to be working for 50 minutes. It's 50 minutes, right? Yeah. We're working for 50 minutes. Then we take a 10-minute break. And then we work for 50 minutes again for a combined 2 hours here. So we're going to be here from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. So pop any questions you have in the live chat if you're watching the live chat. But if you're using this to keep you company while you work, pop your questions and your thoughts and comments in the comment section for our replay crew. What else is going on? Today I have day work to do. Okay. I have day job things to do. I pulled out the work computer. So I will try and get some blogging in today, but today's not really a blogging day for me. But what about you, Fran? What is big on your agenda?
Big on my agenda is to get Facebook scheduled out for the week. I did actually really good last week. I stayed consistent, 2, 3, 4, sometimes posts a day. So that was good and consistent. So I want to make sure that this week is the same. So I'm going to schedule a bunch of stuff. I feel like it was good. I took a little bit of a break on the weekend, which I didn't stress about it. That was kind of the plan. I want to make sure that I am not stressing myself on being there like all the time. Same thing it was on Instagram. I also stayed consistent finally 1 week on Instagram, not on stories. Like I didn't do exactly what I wanted to, but there was something and nothing on the weekend again. So let's see what happens coming back in today on all of the things. I do have a little bit of content created already for Instagram and for some pictures, but so I'll be scheduling that out on Buffer is what I'm using right now for Facebook.
Ooh, awesome. Well, I'm hoping to get some blogging done, but like I said, I have day job work. So that means if you have things for your 9 to 5 in your day job, if you're working from home, you can still co-work with us. If you're working on your blog, if you're studying for school, it really doesn't matter. We're just wanting to spend time together as a community, hold each other accountable so that we can do the things that we need to do. So we have a minute left. I will say in the next break, we do want to talk about some platforms because we have been paying attention to your comments. We see lots of people talking about Substack, people asking about Blogger, Medium, and other platforms. And we have a coworker who has a very interesting content idea. I love all the dynamics. Spoiler, it has to do with music. And I'm so invested in this. So we will be talking about this during the break. But again, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, thoughts, if you need clarity on anything, pop them in the live chat. But also, again, replay crew, just put it in the comment section because we do pay attention to this. But we look at the clock and the clock says it is time for us to get to work. So we're going to put our mics off now. I will have a banner up on screen just to keep you accountable so you know when we're coming back to chat. And we have some music for you as well. So mics off. Hello. Time. Oh my gosh. I was in the middle of like clicking out this email. Oh my gosh. Okay, we are back. We are on break. Let us know what you are working on in the comments, or don't let us know, but let us know if you have any questions in the comments so that we can have a little chitty chat. So, I started off doing day job work, working on my laptop. I got my main emails out, I got my main proposal out. So, I'm like, okay, great. I got that squared away. But then I started working on video editing for the branding fix. I was legit editing. I just finished, Fran. We share editing responsibilities. So I legit just finished editing this week's video. So that is coming to you live. Okay. We're gonna talk about the influencer marketplace and building your own brand and just our experiences so far. I ain't spoiling it for you. So I finished editing that, and then now I was working on emails. So and I was in the middle of like banging out that one. But what were you getting done?
I was working Facebook posts. I got today's post done basically. So that was 4 posts. I have an idea also, like I mapped out what I want to be at least promoting each one of the days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's as far as I got. But I had to make graphics and caption and
Yeah, it's
all the
things. It
things,
takes
all
time.
the things. Yeah.
See, that's the thing about us co-working too. You realize just how much some of this stuff takes time, because for work,
Mm-hmm.
I did one PDF presentation, sent out 2 emails, then sent 2 more, and that was it. And then I jumped on the video, and I had to speed that up 3 times speed and cut, and fix it up for you guys. So work takes time. So sometimes if you feel like you're not able to do as much, it is okay. I am notorious for over expecting that I should be doing more,
Mm-hmm.
but underestimating the time. I'm always
Yeah.
underestimating time. My husband talks about that all the time.
Me
About
too. And I will also add to that, I think it's important to recognize that we all have our days, right? So there's days where you might be able to meet your expectations, and that is probably how you judge all the time, is because well, I am able to do XYZ. But that is actually not the norm. That is the exception. That is like a day where you're really, really good, like you're really in the zone. And I think having putting the expectation on ourselves to perform to that level all the time, it's also not good. It's also
no,
not good. So we need to recognize that there's days where things are a little slower and there's less
yeah.
output, and that is fine.
So you'll have the extreme days when you're super productive, but then you'll also have the low days when you're not doing anything, which was late last week for me. So instead, judge yourself on the happy middle, not when you're
Yes.
overproductive and not when you're falling off. So I co-sign everything Fran is saying, which
Yeah.
kind of rolls into the question. Tiff popped in. Hi, Tiff. How you
Tiff.
doing, girl? Tiff says, hi, ladies. I had well, something for the break.
Question.
Oh, a question for the break time. Listen, the brain ain't braining right now. But I have a question for the break time. Do you have tips on how to plan and create content around a 9 to 5? I'm always so tired after work and lack direction and focus, and time slips away from me. I think that is a common sentiment. I will just say in a
Mm-hmm.
very quick and brief sentence, and you might not like it, but I think it's very normal to feel just tired and exhausted at the end of the day. When I was juggling a day job and a side hustle and blogging, because I was a lunatic, the only way I could actually find any time to work on like my creative pursuits and blogging, and it's going to be really hard. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. But what worked for me was waking up early in the morning. I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to wake up and work on something for me before I work for other people. So I got up an extra hour, sometimes 2 hours. It depends on what it is. And I just consistently had that time for me, whether it was productive or not, but that was just my me time. So my advice would be, if you can wake up early in the morning, I don't know if you live with people, I don't know if you have a family, I don't know what your home situation is, but if you can wake up before everyone else, in my case, that's what I do. That can be helpful because at the end of the day, you're spent. At least I am. I'm not productive in the evening. Fran and I co-work, at 7 a.m., in the morning. I'm already up from like after 4, you know? So it might not work for a lot of people, but that's what works for me. Do you have any tips, Fran?
I will add to that because I used to wake up really, really early, like 4:30, and I also love the time, like for me, but that is usually time that I dedicate for me, not to be productive or like to do work. Like my brain doesn't function in work at that time. It functions in like doing things for me, self-care, like those kind of things, which was great. But I will say, obviously you have to know yourself, so you have to know what do you struggle with, what's your strengths. For me, I work well at night on fumes. So that is, again, it's like when everybody in the house is asleep, because I have my husband, I have my mom that I take care of because I'm her caregiver. Everybody has to be done with like Francesca, and then I can just shut down everything. It's me, my computer, and I get a lot of work done. But also, I would add to that you can find maybe the weekend, maybe it's Saturday. Maybe you do all of your content creation and you cram it on a Saturday. You wake up nice and early, have a nice breakfast, have your coffee, whatever gets you really going and pumped, put some music, whatever it is. And like you dedicate, like Saturdays it's almost like you're clocking into work. And that is Saturday. It's just your content, it's content production all day.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually get a lot of work done if you block out a whole day. So if you have that capacity for a weekend time, you might be able to get everything that you would get done in like that 1 hour at night. You can get more done blocking out a whole Saturday or a whole Sunday or even like a really good long afternoon than those little bits and pieces. Because I feel like when you have a longer chunk of time, you get more in the zone and you get more done than when it's just an hour here and there. So that might be, you got to see your schedule, see realistically. So like if you're not being productive, like don't force it, because it's not gonna it's not gonna be good anyway.
So if anyone listening, basically find the schedule that works best for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know Tiff gave us some more context saying her work shift starts at 5. I forgot to add that. I was trying to say I have an 8-hour work day. Oh, no worries. So here's the thing. If you start at 5, let's say you're getting off at 2. I don't know what your commute is or if you work from home, but maybe take a nap. Again, you have to look at your home situation. I don't know if you're coming home to people, kids, whatever. But the thing is, also after that, because you have more daylight, maybe consider taking a nap. Like if you say, I might have to seriously look at my schedule for nighttime. If you can get, and I think people also underestimate the power of a nap, like a power hour or 2, just see what your body is, refresh. But the most important thing is, if you live with people, and this is just for everyone, not just Tiff, if you live with people, if you have other adults, if you have children, it doesn't matter. I would say if you can find a window when you have the least amount of people up. I know it might be difficult. Maybe that means, so fun fact, something I did when I had just moved here and I was studying for a state exam and stuff like that, I needed to change my environment because I had been out of school for a really long time and it was tough. I actually drove myself to the library and I would get one of those little rooms where, you can have it for like, I think at the time it was maybe like an hour or so. I don't remember. But if there's no one else there, like waiting to queue for the space, I could stay longer. That's what I did. I went into one of them little rooms. I closed the door and it was me, myself, and I was just there to focus on that. Then I packed my things and I left home. So if you can just, look at your life and be objective with that.
And then I think test it out, right? So like you test something 1 week. If that doesn't work, just reevaluate and test something else the week after until you find one where you're like, okay, this can work. And maybe it's not every day, maybe like you have to find your schedule in the nighttime, but maybe it's just a few nights out of the week so that, it doesn't feel immediately like a huge load or a huge transition.
Well, look at that. We ended up using this whole break to talk about time management. But I do want to shout out Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Hope you're doing good. Let us know in the comments what you're working on, if you're working on a blog or anything else. But I think for everyone, just look at your calendar and see what works best for you. We're going to
Mhm.
go back into deep work. I see Tiff also said on the weekends, you do all the other stuff you put off. Listen,
Yep.
I am team. If you can do all the work between a Monday and Friday, do that, girl, because that's what I
Yeah.
try to do. Because I don't want to be doing stuff on the weekend, although sometimes I do have to. But anyway, we are going back in to work. We will be back at 11:55. So we're going to work for 15 minutes. Again, pop your thoughts and comments so that we can have a key when we have the next break. The good news about the next break is that is our last break, so we can go a bit longer. So just fill the chat, fill the chat, fill the chat. All righty, we are going mics off and music back on. Alrighty, time. All right, folks, let me get this banner down. I actually started a blog post, which was kind of like great. I set up the other video to edit because today unintentionally has become a video editing day, but I'm not going to complain about it. So I'm actually going to try and see if I can get them other videos squared away today, but also plan my blog post content for next week because I ended up a tad behind with my blog post as I was shifting to like YouTube. Like I'm trying to find that balance. I'm telling you, the one consistent is Instagram and getting my links. I've been getting the traffic through Instagram. It's been working out for me. But I need to get back on my consistency with the blog and, kind of because I have so much content I want to share. So I have things to update, new things to create. All the things. But you know what's top of my mind though, and I think a lot of people don't talk about this, taxes. Yes. Taxes is top of my mind. Okay. The only people I see talking about taxes is Intuit because I am so sick and tired of their ads. However, because I keep seeing their ads everywhere. But outside of like actual accountants and stuff, I rarely see business people talk about taxes and just the stress. So that is also big on my agenda this week is, getting all the things together for the taxes,
I'm on the same boat. I feel like taxes and because work stuff, I also have to do around the same time as taxes, insurance audit. So it's like that is my day job. Has to be done this week. Like I cannot postpone it anymore. I keep doing other stuff and it's like, no, it's that ugly part of the job.
I know.
You have to do it.
But we need to talk about these things. We need to talk about these things because this time of year, it's like, okay, you have the business stuff and the business taxes, but then you have your personal. It's a lot. It's a lot. But outside of that, we did have just a few things we wanted to touch on lightly because we've kind of been paying attention to the comments. Of course, we always reply directly, but I just felt like some of the comments I've been seeing, I think could be beneficial to a lot of us. I mean, one of them was kind of really getting into like all these other social media platforms. I'm trying to pull it up. It is clear. This is the one thing we've noticed. Lots of people are investigating Substack. Lots of people are getting into Blogger. Okay. And, or they are on Blogger, but it's like, they're on Blogger. Should they stay on Blogger? Should they migrate? But there seems to be a heightened interest in Substack and then also low-key mention of Medium as well. I think it's very interesting. One person, Lisa Q, had asked us, mentioning a drop in subscribers on Substack. What do you think has caused this? In one sentence, I will say just the word Substack. I think when people hear the word Substack, because I've had a free newsletter for years, 6+ years, I'm in my 7th year, is they hear Substack, they hear paywall. Oh, I'm going to have to pay for content, or, oh, I have to sign up for something else. And even though you're migrating their email and there's nothing major, I think there is a drop off just for that association. It's like when I used to hear Patreon, I have to pay for bonus content. So it's just the association people mentally have with things. I think that's a reason why people drop off of Substack. But what do you think about Blogger as an alternative, but also Medium? Because people are saying like, oh, well, why can't I just blog on Medium as well?
Well, I feel like the biggest thing is the fact that you're not really blogging on Medium. If you want to write articles to post on Medium because you feel like that's going to give you some kind of search, or I know a lot of people used to think that if they were able to get an article posted on Medium, then that gave them a certain level of like media recognition. You don't have that anymore. Like that was way back in the day. So if you're going at Medium from that aspect, that is gone. But I would say that if you're doing it just because you want to get your content possibly in front of more eyeballs, fine, kind of like as a promotional tool. but not as like that's where you're blogging. And I think all of these things, right, whether it's Blogger or, I mean, in some ways Blogger only because I started off on Blogger. And I will say, you do need to have some ownership of your platform. And while you can have content that you know, buy your domain and that is still hosted on Blogger. So like in some ways you may feel like you're still doing that. WordPress also has that with like WordPress.com. You can get your domain and it's still going through them. But that content is always on their platform. Like they are the ones hosting that content. So the day that they want to do anything with that, disappear, delete, whatever, you don't have it. It's not on your hosting that you're paying for. So I do think that platform ownership, if you are putting in the work, because it is a lot of work to create content, if you're putting in the work to build something, do it somewhere where it's your own platform. And by doing that, obviously, yes, you can customize what kind of ad experience or what kind of revenue you can have from your own platform, because again, that also is related to the terms of service and all of these things from the platform that you're using. So if you're using Blogger, if you're using WordPress.com, all of these things, even Substack, they will have rules and regulations for what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. And that will change. You know, maybe today you're allowed to do something and tomorrow you're not going to be allowed to do something. So platform ownership, I think going forward should be the first priority for everybody. There are relatively cheap ways to have hosting right now. So I think that, you know, start there. You don't need all the fancy bells and whistles on your hosting. Start off wherever you can afford it. Wait for some kind of sale, maybe like a Black Friday sale, and then get a really cheap plan on Black Friday sale and like a year thing where it doesn't really cost a lot of money. So I think that there's ways, but focus on platform ownership if you're putting in work. Anything else should just be promotional. And then you can choose wherever you're promoting, but that's it.
Yeah, I find it super interesting, the chase for what's going to be the next big platform. Where should I be? I think now more than ever, and I think also if we, you know, just kind of remove ourselves and our desires from it and just look at things objectively, even in 2020, people never really paused to pay attention to everything. And I assure you now, everyone knows how the sausage is made. And even if they did not know, because there is AI, a quick little put in, you know, 1 2 1 2, you know what everything is. You know, another thing I want to mention, and this is me going completely left, so humor me. Did anyone watch the Super Bowl yesterday? Because if you watch the Super Bowl yesterday, I was watching it, okay, start to finish. I was invested in the game. The team I was backing won. God bless. Yay, Seahawks, because I feel like people are not giving these people the credit they deserve. I want to shout out Sam Darnold, the quarterback, because this man was discarded, okay? And there is a moral to the story. Just work with me. This guy made it to the Super Bowl after being moved and traded from team to team to team to team. Now, don't quote me on this, but I'm almost sure he now has the record as a person who was shoved around and, you know, moved off around teams the most and has now won the Super Bowl. This is how good this bro was. He was with the Minnesota Vikings last season, okay? Great record, 14-3, amazing record, only lost 3 games, and they still traded this dude. So he was good. And they still traded this dude. And now he ended up with the Seahawks and made it to the Super Bowl and won. And I'm like, yes. So sorry for the Patriots fans out there. Your guy is young. He has years to get back there. What I'm saying is, you can be good, okay, and you get kicked off of platforms. Okay. Yeah. I know this is a wild comparison, but there are more morals to the story I'm saying here. You can be good, and this platform gets pulled out from under you. And then you have to start over, kind of like how this guy had to start over. Now, you might make it to your version of Super Bowl one day, and we want that for you. But when you have your own footing, people know to always come back to your blog. The second thing I wanted to mention about the Super Bowl is I felt like 50% of the ads were AI ads.
Yep.
So coming back to the conversation of blogging, even if people didn't know how the sausage is made, there was this one ad all about like, oh, we can create apps now. And this one is like, I made an app for this. I made an app for inter-office dating. That was the last one. That was so bad shit funny. But then another ad for this, not ad, app. And they were I think it was a Claude ad, but they were basically a lot of the ads in the Super Bowl. By the way, hardly any funny ads, like truly. I think the
Yeah.
Michelob Ultra was the funniest, but a lot of AI ads and then a lot of
Mm-hmm.
pharmaceutical ads. I found it so interesting, like pharmaceuticals were like big at the Super Bowl. I was like, what is going on? Where is the Doritos? Where is the Cheetos? I did like the polar bear going to therapy. Because Coca-Cola polar bear, but now he's like drinking Pepsi. Love Pepsi Zero down. I love Pepsi Zero. But anyway, he's going to therapy and the whole rigmarole of that. God bless. But I say this to say AI was taking over the Super Bowl. AI is just like there. So the more you can build on a platform so that platform doesn't get pulled from under you, the better. Okay. So you don't have to start over. Because the thing I got from watching the Super Bowl outside of watching the game, and watching the ads and watching the show and all the things is even mainstream media now, the American economy, and I can only speak for America because I'm living in America now, although I do pay attention worldwide, but it's being propped up by pharmaceuticals and AI. And I forgot the other thing I was going to say. It's like three things.
There was crypto too.
Crypto,
Gambling.
Gambling. Thank you. The American economy. Oh my God. Again, my husband will tell you, he keeps joking. He's going to video me and post me online because every time I see a betting ad come on, I get upset. Like I'm like, F off, get off the television, stop robbing poor people. Because I don't care about the rich people. I really don't. Sorry. But people gambling and because it's so easy. Listen, I grew up with a father who bet on horses and his friends and all that. Listen, I going to the tracks, listen. However, you physically had to get yourself up and go to the shop down the street, okay, and place your bets or go to the actual track, which is where my love of horses began. But anyway, now you can do it on your phone. So America's being propped up by gambling, AI, crypto, and pharmaceuticals. Yeah, thank you for that. I feel strongly on that. So I say all this to say, people, we need to build our own platforms. I know this was a long roundabout story to come back to. We need to build our own platforms. People can do so much with AI, and I know AI isn't the end all be all, okay? But I think more than ever, we have a video, it's $50 or less a month. And the $50 is with all the bells and whistles. You can build your blog for less. If you're posting on any other platform, it should really be to promote. And there's nothing more annoying than moving off a platform that you build so much on, and then you decide, okay, now I'm going to invest in me because you see all the things we've been telling you about, and now you're experiencing it. It is so hard packing up and leaving. Let me tell you, them suitcases are heavy. The labor is intensive, but I mean, those are our takes, but I feel strongly about it. I feel strongly about it.
Platform ownership is the biggest thing you can do.
Nowadays.
Because
Nowadays.
that will always be all you all the time.
Say what?
All you all the time. You can control all of it. Nobody's there telling you, dictating algorithms. So.
Yep. I also saw another comment where someone was saying they are posting all the things. And I love this for them. Hold on. Now it disappeared. Now I can't see it.
Which, by the way, I mean, that's not to say you don't need to be on these platforms with the algorithms, because you do need to be there for the promotion, to get your name out there. But yeah, definitely.
That's all I'm doing on Instagram. And we do have a video coming up with my Instagram experiment. Okay. I ghosted my Instagram for a while. And if you've been here for some time, I've shared. I've been consistent, I disappeared. I've been consistent, I disappeared. Well, even with all the ghosting in the past, for the first time, I was super consistent and intentional about driving traffic to my blog. So now, after ghosting my peoples again and being so inconsistent, I only posted Monday to Friday. I kid you not, Monday to Friday only, one link a day only. And I gained a whole bunch of traffic. like in 6 weeks, over 4,000 clicks verified through Google Analytics. So I'm not just paying attention to what the many chats and the grocers list and then people are saying. I am verifying. So we do have that experiment coming up. And yeah, so we are on social, but it is to promote. Someone mentioned that they're wanting to do classic rock content, concert reviews, music blurbs, and that they have Blogger Fran. They're trying to post more frequently on Blogger, but they want an area where they can share their art because they're also into art, post their music history, media reviews, and all the things, and then have a certain section of my show on there and recommend new things. Long story short, blog and YouTube.
Yep, that's
I
it.
wouldn't even invest in Blogger. I would build my own blog
Yeah,
and double down on YouTube. Those are your two platforms. What do you think?
right. 100% same thing. Invest in your own platform, because if you're already blogging on Blogger, don't do it on that platform which you don't have ownership. Just invest small amount, get your hosting so that you own it, and then you do that. I think it's a really fun mix, because we always, going back to the Fix Your Brand Challenge, we always tell you guys to have a nice mix of categories that you're posting. So that right there's art, there's music history, there's music or concert reviews, there's a radio show, I think you said. So obviously there's a lot of, there's a lot of nice, interesting mix of content, which also delivers a lot of personality. So I think that all of that needs to be on the blog, and then you pick and choose from there what goes on YouTube, because again, YouTube is there for promotion so that you get your name out there and all of these things. So I would focus there, and then if there is time to add another platform, I would say Instagram, but definitely without a doubt, without a question, YouTube and the main as your, and a newsletter. That is non-negotiable. You need a newsletter from the start.
Yes. And go a traditional email service provider route for sure. And I just remembered something I was going to say, but of course I got caught up in my Super Bowl rant because I wanted to talk about it. Okay, I did. Anyway, Substack. We did a video about Substack. If you guys haven't watched it, check that one out. We shared our 1 year experience on Substack. And we also made some predictions at the end. And one of the predictions we made, actually, Francesca had brought it up, and I was like, you know what? Facts. One of our predictions was the fact that Substack is going to have to start advertising, AKA put those annoying, pesky ads that people don't like. Okay, because people will come for you and say, I don't like the ads. I'm like, well, you're not paying for premium content anyway. But they are experimenting with ads. And it's like, we saw this coming. We know y'all don't like the Instagram ads, Facebook, YouTube, just all the platforms and all the things. And some of you might even find blog ads annoying. But see now, Substack is going to come with it, because at the end of the day, they need to cover their bills. Like, their cut of your subscriptions isn't enough. And the thing about corporate and corporations is the margins, the bottom line, profits and growth. They have like an aggressive growth model that mom and pop and small businesses like, us, because we are a business, they don't have, they have ridiculous aggressive growth stuff that we don't have. So Substack itself, so you see a lot of people pulling up on Substack this year, it is going to change. And I see Tiff had said, I would do a blog, but I could never understand SEO. There is nothing heavy for you to understand in SEO, because in a weird way, the old school SEO, the complicated thing,
doesn't work anymore.
Isn't working anymore. Yeah. It's not working anymore. We have a whole WordPress tutorial for beginners. We legit hold your hand through this. This is something you can do over, I would say, to give yourself grace, over 2 days. 2 days, 3 days if you want to stretch it out, by just doing step by, like Francesca went heavy on that. I'm telling y'all, hand holding through and through, down to the blog post structure, from buying the domain, setting up the hosting, what to install, what not to install. We legit walk you through it. And blog posts today shouldn't have the SEO structure of the past. It really shouldn't. That's the last thing you should be worrying about.
Yeah, there's probably just like a small checklist, which we might do like a quick video on. These are like few things, and that you need to make sure that you're doing, and that's about it. It doesn't need to be that heavy, it doesn't need to be that complicated. And I think that if you apply enough of the Fix Your Brand so that you have all your different category pillars and all of that, and then once you have that, you go through the WordPress tutorials and you set everything up, so now you have your buckets of what you need to be blogging about. You can create a bunch of ideas that fit within those buckets, and just have your little schedule. I mean, we also did the 75 fix challenge, which was basically going through each of those buckets, so that every week there was just going to be one blog post, and at the end of the 75 days you would actually have a certain number of blog posts. I think it was 4, right, within each of those content pillars, so you would already have a nice base. And then you can add into that some social media or some YouTube or whichever element you want in terms of promotion and brand awareness. Everything else becomes brand awareness to drive that traffic.
Your blog is a home base. When you show up on any of these social media streets, any of them, it should strictly be promotional. That is all. You are just there to tell the peoples, hey, I'm talking about this, I have a post about that, and so on and so on. Strictly
and brand
promotional.
awareness.
What do you
and
say?
brand awareness. You don't want to be promoting all the time either.
True. Because you'll also hear in the Instagram experiment video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But in that one, I explain my breakdown of when I posted stuff to drive traffic to the blog and when I didn't. And again, Monday to Friday schedule. And my account also grew. Forgot to mention that part. So for the people who care about the numbers, because to be quite frank, look, I appreciate all the people who follow me everywhere. However, I care more about the people who are interested in my newsletter, who will then click the links and go to my blog, or the people on social who are like, listen, I don't want you in my inbox, but if you share something specific that I'm interested in, yeah, I will go click that. Then I will take them as well. So, I don't discriminate. However you want to get your links, I will deliver them to you. But when I show up on social media, it's brand awareness and to send my traffic. And it's always that one place. So God forbid if my Instagram were to be shut down, knock on wood, they know where to find me, because it's like I've been conditioning them as well, So anyways, we have been quite chatty after co-working today. We hope you got some work done, whether it's on your blog or whether you were studying for school or you were just working on your day job, but you just wanted to, hang out with us so we could have a little kiki, but also just, keep each other company sometimes. Accountable, because it helps me stay accountable and get stuff done as well. But anyways, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we will see you all next week. We do this every Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Next time is going to be another co-working session. So we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.